Hi, I'm Joey Lott, and today I'd like to make a short video on a subject that's been coming up a lot in my communications with people, and that is this phenomenon that can happen, which is that you get a taste of, or a moment of, okayness, a letting go into this vulnerability of just being. No need to protect yourself. And this, of course, is what we think that we want, and in many ways, it is what we want. But then what can happen is that there can be an anxiety about this experience. So a lot of people want to know, well, what's going on? Why would this be? I thought I just wanted to be okay. I've been working so hard to be okay, and now I see that everything that I was doing trying to be okay was actually working against me. So I hear this message of, take a look at what it is that I'm doing to resist, discover how to let go of that resistance. And then it seems that, yes, it works. Maybe not immediately in the way that I was hoping for, but slowly but surely there's a reorientation, and I discover this moment of okayness. I'm not guarded. I'm not protected. And it's such a relief. And then there's this anxiety, this discomfort, this unease, and a very strong compulsion sometimes to do something about it. So why would that be? And this happens, I think, quite reliably, because once we get this taste of unguarded vulnerability, yes, on the one hand, we discover the joy of that. It's really quite wonderful. But on the other hand, we have spent a lifetime habituated to this chronic sense that what's happening is not okay, that there's danger everywhere and all the time. And of course, we don't necessarily rationally believe that, but that's the sense that we walk around and live our lives with, is that there's something wrong with this now. And by something wrong, fundamentally, what we're talking about, if we tell the truth, is there's a sense that I'm in danger somehow. And there's that kind of urgency. I have to figure it out. I have to learn how to protect myself. I have to solve this problem so that I won't be in danger. And that's why we do all the things that we do, really, fundamentally. That's why we meditate, and it's why we pray, and it's why we use drugs, and it's why we drink too much alcohol, and it's why we watch too much television, and all of these things. In and of themselves, these are not problems, none of these things. But we can just start to see how we use them as strategies, trying to protect ourselves from this threat that we perceive. Again, we don't rationally believe that the bogeyman is lurking behind us to get us, but it's that sense. It's the same sense, as though I have to figure it out because my life is in danger. So we've spent a lifetime doing that. That's the momentum of our whole life is invested into this trajectory of trying to get away from and protect ourselves against this vulnerability, which we have mistakenly believed was dangerous. So it is very natural that even once you get a taste, and even after you have a repeated experience of the okayness of allowing this vulnerability, that this compulsion to protect yourself will reassert itself, and it's going to show up in a lot of ways. And also, what will happen is that every experience will be interpreted through this lens of there's danger, I need to protect myself. So every experience that's happening gets interpreted in that way. And this is why people will describe all of these different experiences. They'll say it feels as though there's a lot of energy, or it feels as though my mind is racing, or it feels as though just the pressure that this just really strong pressure that I need to do something about. But whatever the experience is, whatever phenomena occur, it gets interpreted as this is proof of a problem and I need to solve it. But if you take a look, you can just keep applying the same principles here. If you just take a look and you observe what's happening, you'll see that none of this that's happening, none of these experiences can actually harm you. Now, until you have had enough repeated experience of letting go, this may not be so clear. But eventually, it does become clear once you have enough of this experience, once you get to this point, or you have this taste of, I'm vulnerable, I'm unguarded, this is what I've been looking for. Then you can really tell the truth, and you can see that none of the phenomena can hurt you, because all we're talking about is movement, energy, feeling, emotion, thoughts. That's it. It's not anything that can hurt you. I mean, to be clear, some things can hurt you, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about guns and knives and being pushed from tall places and stuff like that. We're talking about your everyday experience, the experience of just stuff happening, the experience of being alive, which involves feelings, thoughts, emotions, sensations, energy. And this stuff can't hurt you. And again, that becomes clear once you have enough repeated experience of letting go, of allowing this vulnerability. So you just repeat the same thing again. You just take a look and you see none of this can hurt me. So what is it that I'm doing to resist this? And then, can I let that go? Can I let go of the resistance? So it's not to let go of the phenomenon that is happening right now, it's to let go of the resistance. And in my experience, and I don't know that this will be true for everybody, but it's been my experience, and I've been witness to this for a few people now. It can be very, very, very useful, particularly when you get to this point where you have this taste of the okayness, the almost, we could say, joy, the ease of being unguarded. When you have that taste, and then this anxiety is appearing, and then there's a vying for your attention. So the thoughts, the sensations, the emotions, the feelings, all of these experiences are vying for your attention, and specifically, there's this layer of meaning being applied to it. This is a problem. What does it mean? How do I solve it? You can then, it can be very powerful simply to let go. And in general, I advise to always be very gentle and gradual, and to avoid overwhelm whenever possible, because I think it's the more reliable, safer, better way. There's never any need to traumatize yourself, but particularly when you are at this point and you have, we'll say, enough clarity to recognize that none of this can really hurt you, then it may be, and you have to find this out for yourself and always tell the truth for yourself, but it may be that if you can really recognize that none of this can hurt you, that it could be extremely helpful just to continue to let go. And even if there's a sense of overwhelm, just to continue to acknowledge that none of this can hurt you and to continue to let go. Because it can be very useful to, we'll say, see this through all the way. Because as long as there's a hesitance there, so it's kind of like, there can be a hesitance to get into the water sometimes. They're concerned it's cold, let's say. And so there's a hesitance to do it. But sometimes you just need to get in. And so when you're at this point and you know the water is safe, it can't hurt you, it's not going to do any harm to you, then you just get in and don't get out and don't resist it. So the same here, when you recognize the tendency is we want to escape from our experience. When we recognize that our experience can't hurt us, and we also recognize that our experience is all that's happening, so we can't actually escape from it, and that all attempts to escape from it will fail and will be ultimately painful, then you just get in and let go, and you just allow it all to happen. So you notice the compulsion to get away from the experience. So people will say, okay, it seems like my mind is racing. So you notice how it is you try to escape from or protect yourself from the experience that you call your mind racing. And then don't do that. Just go all the way in. Just allow yourself to be all the way in to that experience without doing anything trying to protect against or distance yourself from it. The same with the experience of energy, or hot or cold, or thoughts, or emotion or feeling. Now again, as I say, I always recommend being very gentle and don't push yourself into overwhelm. But once you get to that point where you really recognize that this can't hurt you, that the only thing that ever could hurt you in regard to any of this, in regard to your experience, is your resistance to it. Like I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was the best metaphor I could come up with. I'm sure if I worked harder, I could come up with a better one. But a wall just standing there is not going to hurt you, but you pressing against the wall and resisting the wall, if you do it hard enough, you could give yourself a hernia, right? So you could hurt yourself with the resistance. The experience can't hurt you, but your resistance to it could. So you just keep letting go. And when you get to this point of recognizing this can't hurt me, it's just experience, then I suggest you just let go all the way. Keep letting go. Right now, just let go. Notice the compulsion to do something, to figure it out, to pay attention, unnecessary attention to little bits of what's happening. So think of it like this. It's like you're in a stream. The water is flowing. So there's the experience of the water flowing. There will naturally be some attention on this phenomenon of the water flowing. There's the sensation, the sight, the sound. There's just a natural attention. You don't have to put any effort into it. It just naturally happens. So you don't need to ignore your experience. This is not about trying to ignore it, which would be just another way of trying to get rid of it. But also, you don't need to give unnecessary attention to it. So it's like you're just sitting there in the stream and the water is flowing. And you notice that there's just naturally attention that goes. It doesn't even go to. There's just naturally attention that happens simultaneous with the water flowing. They are, in a sense, one and the same. And it's completely effortless. There's nothing that you need to do. And you can just allow that. So that's the same sort of thing that I'm suggesting here with your experience. You just allow that natural attention, no more, no less. So you don't need to put any effort in. And you'll just notice where you're putting effort in and you let go. So the effort will feel like some kind of contraction. It's an attempt to control something, to figure it out, to protect, to distance, to do something about this. And instead, the opportunity here, which can be extremely helpful, is just to keep letting it be. Don't make any effort at all. Just do this right now. Make no effort. And notice how easy it is, right? By definition, if it's without effort, it's easy. Which doesn't mean that it's necessarily comfortable, but this is because of the conditioning. The conditioning can say this is very uncomfortable, this is dangerous. But you can just, again, notice very gently. You just notice there's no real danger here. It's just experience. It's just thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions, energy. That's it. That's all that's happening. And not just as a thought, right? I'm suggesting that you use this as a way to actually take a look. It's a very gentle, simple thing. You just look and acknowledge there's no real danger. So you just keep allowing this gentle, effortless attention. And that's it. Nothing else. There's nothing else that needs to be done. Just keep doing this right now. Notice how you're maybe looking at the video, you're hearing these words, you're feeling the sensations, there's whatever energy, whatever thoughts, whatever feelings, whatever emotions. And notice how it's possible just to allow the natural attention that's aware of all of this without doing anything, trying to change any of it. You don't need to do anything about it. There's nothing that you need to protect yourself against right now. As I said, this can be very, very helpful. And if this has made sense to you, then I recommend that you just continue to do it and find out what really requires any effort, what requires that you put any effortful attention on it. Sometimes there may be things, but you just notice how much really requires that. And you'll likely find that not much. So I hope this has been helpful. And as usual, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like my page and share with friends. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. And in any case, please visit my website, joeylott.com, and sign up for whatever free offer I have available. As I'm recording this, I have a free introductory e-course on what I call radical self-acceptance. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Bye for now.